Hello, guys. Welcome to our second episode of the podcast. My name is James.
My name is Daniel.
My name's Yen. Well, after the first episode, coming into the second episode, we've done some changes in our, you can say, studios or equipments.
Yeah, and how did you like the jingle? Did you listen to our last episode? Did you like the jingle?
I think the jingle, kind of.
Yeah, I think I went for like a quirky, like 8-bit sort of vibe over there.
Yeah, that's kind of.
And I guess I really like it for the first version of our jingle. We can perhaps we can have a play on that, in the next
In the next one,
season,
next season, okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit about our updates to this podcast.
Yeah.
So we bought new mics.
Very good mics.
We now are capable of having like 4 people at once.
Yeah.
Wow.
To record.
I want to ask, where did this money come from?
From our pockets.
So this money, we invested deeply in this project. As both
you
physically
didn't rob
and
mentally.
No, we did not. So now we have new mics and we have a new audio interface.
Wow.
And so this can take like 4 inputs.
Yeah.
From last time we were 3 people and we shared 2 mics.
We shared 2 mics together.
So this time we upgraded our gear.
Yeah.
And now we have mic stands also.
Make everything tuned up.
Yeah. So our sound is perhaps a little more consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, on very big news, we now have a name for our podcast. So our podcast is called The Islanders Podcast. And the reason for this name is because, like as you all know, we live on this island, and a lot of our maybe habits or our ideologies are based on being an islander, basically, to fight a world with limited resources, perhaps,
Oh.
And yeah, so we wanted to put this kind of mentality into our podcast and maybe convey this kind of ideology
to your audience,
to you all. Yes. So welcome back to our first episode. I mean,
that's
episode 1.2.
It's kind
like
of
a
beta version.
Beta version, and this one is like the public release. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about our summer vacation, and I wanted to hear what y'all did during the summer vacation.
I would like to say summer vacation is kind of a hard time for everyone to make well use of. Nowadays students, we have more freedom to our time, and especially when during the college time, because you're maybe both 3 of us are not live in our home. We live in dormitory or renting some house outside. So we're trying to. If we would like to try to spend time very well, great discipline is needed in that scene.
Yeah, so as a wise man once said, there's 104 days in summer vacation. And the big problem for our generation is to find how to spend it.
Wow.
Spend the 3 months of
the
summer
PNF
vacation.
or something.
Yeah, a wise man once said.
Yeah.
And I think that's not only, for fun, but actually.
Do you have a copyright to say this sentence?
Yes, I think the sentence is not copyrighted. We couldn't use the music, though.
Make sure. Yeah,
we wanted to
the
sing the jingle, but we were afraid that Disney was going to sue us.
Maybe we could try the translated version. Maybe it's not kind of.
Yeah,
maybe
I think
that's copyright.
Disney is still going to sue us. So we'll skip the song, but we wanted to convey the idea to you.
You may ring the song in your head.
Yes, please play the song in your head right now.
Use your imagination.
Okay. So, what did you do this summer, Daniel?
Basically, most of my time I spent on doing project research, and reading.
So you were in like a school department
seminar or something?
No.
I thought you were in a lab for summer vacation.
I didn't live in the lab. Okay, I just spent.
You can sleep there. You can get some beds and
Yes, I can sleep with
and
some
pillows. And you can sleep aside your.
You didn't live there yet. I mean,
Yet.
you are going to at some point.
I spend maybe 15 to 20 hours per week in a lab
In a lab.
to do some material characterization or experiments.
And so your
on.
research topic is on batteries, right?
Yes, battery research.
Yeah.
So what kind of battery? It's just like a normal battery we use in our daily life, or
The battery in our cell phone is secondary battery. It means the battery can be charged and discharged repeatedly.
Yes.
yeah.
And my research topic is different. The battery is sodium-ion battery, not lithium-ion
Sodium-ion battery.
Yes,
Okay.
it's a novel research field.
And so it charges faster, or it has like it can hold its
It's
charge
much
for longer.
cheaper
Yeah.
than
Much cheaper.
lithium.
Also,
Lithium. Oh,
okay,
yeah.
so it's much cheaper
Yes,
and more accessible.
yes.
Okay. So, like now it's a very important time to make a very good batteries. I think, because in the future maybe or
Yeah,
cars
electricity
or
is
like,
really
yeah, and
important
and recently
energy
we
for
have
everyone.
seen like really the electronic motorcycles have been
developed. Yeah.
a
It
whole
means
lot.
Gogoro or
Yeah, Gogoro.
Yeah, and
Also like Yamaha or
Oh, for
You know.
you if you don't know about this, since scooters, motorcycles and scooters are widely used in Taiwan, in our island, the island we're lived in. So there's a kind of lots of new companies. They're trying to get ahead in development in electric vehicles like scooters or cars. So in Taiwan, a well-known brand is called Gogoro, and they make really good quality electric bikes. And for Chinese peoples, I think that's something you would glad to have.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also it's much quieter,
Yeah,
quieter and
much
better for
quieter.
the environment.
yes.
And yesterday I saw on the news that the postman
Postman. Oh,
they
yeah,
now
yeah,
use
postman.
like Gogoros
Ah.
for sending mails.
Yeah, and police officers, you can see lots of government departments. They try to invest their money into the electric vehicles development, and so they also want that rewards to their departments. They could use the vehicles in their departments, and so that's a really important topic for.
Yeah. Also, I think in a few years they're going to completely make petroleum-based motorcycles illegal, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So I think in like 10,
That's a
20
trend.
years,
That's
we're
a
going to
trend we're
change
going to.
to all electronic
Mhm.
motorcycles. And also, everybody will think like when you have electronic motorcycles, you might have a trade-off for speed or
Yeah,
something.
speed or
But actually,
acceleration.
Gogoros are pretty fast.
Pretty
Yes,
fast.
they're
and
built
really good
built
at.
for speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, it takes at least maybe 20 years to commercialize battery material.
Yeah, battery
So
materials.
it's a long
Material.
way.
So
Yeah,
now,
it's kind of
perhaps the batteries they're researching now will come out like 10, 20 years
Yeah,
later.
Yes.
Okay.
really advanced research.
Yeah.
So is there any fun part? Is there any fun part in your lab life or
Well, fun parts.
Nothing fun.
Maybe
Lab
we
is
can
no
say
fun.
new part.
new part? Okay.
Yes.
In this summer, I learned how to fabricate battery cell.
Fabricate.
Yes, fabricate to produce
Yeah.
produce battery cell.
Yes.
The battery we fabricate is coin cell. It's about the size of a button.
Oh, it's just like
So like for watches or
Watches
something
or
like
yeah.
the
Mm.
batteries for watches.
I'm not sure, but the reason that we make the cell in this size because the other research about battery also depth this type of coin cell to test their material. So it's like a standard procedure.
procedure for you to fabricate
Yes.
these kind of device or
Yes, I learned how to fabricate sodium-ion battery. The material we use is a sodium metal, so we have to fabricate the cell in the glove box.
Sodium
filled with-
cells,
Yes.
very
filled-
dangerous.
Yes, very dangerous.
Yep.
So you don't have water. It's like
You don't.
you can't touch water, and you can't touch anything else
Yes.
when you fabricate.
If
the battery.
someone just sneezed or or just
Actually, the glove box is filled with argon, so
Argon,
argon, so
The
so it
water
prevents it
and-
from
yes,
having reactions.
yeah, prevent the sodium metal
That's
or
cool.
lithium metal from oxidation.
so there's a piece of metal in the tank and there's full of argon. So how did you interact with that piece of metal? You
In
use laser or something?
the glove box have two gloves,
Oh,
obviously.
gloves. Oh.
So you
Oh, so you
reach
put your hands inside.
Hands inside.
Like gloves.
reach your hand
Oh,
in the box, and
I saw that on TV before. Like
Yeah.
there were the moon rocks from
Ah.
the movie.
yes,
They took
It's
it
kind of
back
sci-fi
to
movies. You
NASA,
can-
and then at NASA they have like a
Yeah.
box, and then put the moon rocks inside, and you can only touch them through the gloves.
yes.
Also, I didn't know we had that kind of equipment here at school.
Actually, it's quite common in labs.
Okay.
The labs which have research on battery all have such glove box.
Okay.
It's necessary.
Cool. That's really interesting. I've never seen something
Never
like
seen
that
something. It's
in
just
real
like
life.
sci-fi movies for me.
Like in our labs, it's just computers
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
books.
For now.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything else?
I learned other material characterization technique.
Yes.
That's lots of them. So maybe I will specify later.
Okay. Cool. How about you, Yan? What did you do this summer?
Yeah, I do not like Daniel. I just haven't done anything really productive lately. So, at first, last month I went to the Great Britain for about 2 weeks, and I and my family went there for a self-assistive trip, and yep, that's a really quite nice trip. How do you know about Great Britain? Your image of Great Britain?
Like
Food
soldiers,
desert.
soldiers and castles.
Soldiers? Oh, you
Yeah, like
mean
the-
red coats?
Yeah, the red coats.
Yeah.
And then
Scotland
fish
whiskey.
and chips, maybe.
Scotland whiskey,
Yes.
fish and chips.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And Brexit.
Brexit.
Recently. And-
Brexit. Yeah, that's really famous.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have kind of the same image for like you for the Great Britain before I went there,
Yes.
and I really got there. I found that all of these image, the most impressive one, is just like everyone said, the food. That's totally impressive.
So it's great. It's good food.
No, it sucks.
So the food is worse than the food in Hsinchu.
Yeah, everyone says Hsinchu is a food desert in the whole island on Taiwan. But I think comparing to the Great Britain,
Yeah, I don't think it's food desert. I mean,
yeah,
there's a lot of food, but not
there's a
very
lot
good
of food.
food. I
And
mean, you wouldn't want to eat there.
you won't
Yeah.
want to eat there.
I mean, in Hsinchu.
In
I mean,
Hsinchu,
the
yeah.
problem is not with, like, there are not enough shops. The problem is with the
quality.
The quality.
Yeah, of the food
Even
that
you
are
have
there.
money, you cannot
Also, the
get
price
something.
is not cheap.
And talking about the prices, in Great Britain, the prices is just crazy. The prices, normal prices there, I think normal cost is about 4 or 5 times than in Taiwan.
So let's say a sandwich, like a regular ham
Yeah.
sandwich. Like how much would it cost over there?
I've a bit comparing to Taiwan. If just like in Taiwan, we have NT dollars.
Yes.
And NT dollars, we have a sandwich just like maybe 30 or 40
30, 40.
40
Yes.
NT dollars. And in Great Britain, a sandwich maybe it's kind of 4 times. It's normal, common, very
Wow.
common.
Four
the
times is about how many
about-
pounds?
About that's kind of 3 or 4 pounds
3 or 4 pounds. Okay.
for a sandwich.
For a simple ham
For a
sandwich.
simple hand
I think maybe a Big Mac is
No.
Yeah, so I wanted to tell you guys about
Oh.
our minimum wage here. Okay, the minimum wage here in Taiwan is 3 pounds per hour.
3 pounds is like
It's 150 NT dollars
$50.
for So if you work here for an hour, you can buy a sandwich in England.
If
The
I
price
work here,
difference
the
is
price difference is really
it's
big.
really big.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the food there, I found out that there's a lot of exotic foreign food in maybe in London. Yeah, the first
Like
city I
Indian
went to
food
was-
or Thai food.
yeah. Everyone says that Indian food is the best one.
Like British
Relating
food,
to
the
the
best
great-
of British food is
British
Indian food.
It's
There's
Indian
a
food.
saying on
maybe
it.
that's because we are more familiar with Hindu food.
No, even the natives
Even the
say
natives
that
say-
Wow.
the Indian food are better
Yeah.
than.
I
you
think
know.
that's the reason why they conquer the whole.
The whole world.
Continents.
To find good food.
To find good,
and then
good
bring them
food.
back to their island.
And they just cannot bear the bad food qualities, and they have shit.
That's
they
really
have
a motivation.
sales outside. So, yeah, but there's still something good in Great Britain. Maybe not in London, but I've come back to the foreign food topic. There's lots of foreign food in maybe in London. I've seen, yeah. Besides Indian food or Thai food, there's a lot of kind of like Middle East food. There's kind of common Middle East food, maybe Lebanese or Arabian. There's a lot of Middle East food there, and also, and that one thing I haven't thought of in London is that there's not so many European food there. It's kind of French food or maybe German.
Maybe
food.
they hate the French. I mean,
maybe they
have
hate
like
the
a-
European
Yeah.
continent. They have a strait over there, so
yeah, they have like a.
so they do not like those people come there
Yeah.
and having a new restaurant.
Yes.
So, yep, I can.
I think the good restaurants are very expensive,
Yep,
and if you want to eat for cheap, like in Europe,
Europe.
then you should cook yourself, or
Yeah.
maybe go to like Turkish restaurants.
Yeah.
Or something
At the second week we're there. We have rent a house with kitchen, so we do the cookings for ourselves, and that can be really affordable for comparing to the restaurants there.
Yeah. Also, a big thing I noticed is
Yep.
like when we Asians, when we go to like maybe
Restaurants.
maybe Taiwanese, when we
Yeah.
go abroad, we actually still, look at prices, and
Yeah.
when we go on vacation, we actually still care about how much we spend. And I think that's very different from many Westerners. I think when they go on vacation, they just
They
they
just-
don't
yeah.
look at prices, and
We
they
have
enjoy their time there. And maybe it's because that they earn like better wages.
wages.
compared- When they come to Asia, it's much cheaper for them.
Yeah,
Yes.
But I think the mentality is quite different.
quite different.
Yeah.
And also, the food culture is really different from Taiwanese in England. They seldom have street foods. They don't have kind of.
So
we have a lot of
mainly
street
like
food.
sit-in
Yeah, they
diners.
sit
and
in
stuff like that.
diners. So since they maybe their least wages is way higher than in Taiwan. The wages.
The
in
minimum
Taiwan.
wage. I
Minimum
think
wage.
it's
Yeah,
like
minimum wage is
$600
yeah
per hour.
So that's kind of 5 times than in Taiwan. So they cannot afford that kind of manpower to have vendors or something. But in Taiwan, we just have a lot of vendors, and we have maybe due to the cheap manpower cost.
Labor
so-
costs.
So yeah, labor costs.
So we have cheaper food.
We have cheaper food. Restaurant is not so expensive there.
But I noticed like in Europe, a lot of restaurants have
Yeah.
like seats outside.
Seats outside, but
And
I
on
hate
the
the
street.
seats outside.
You don't like that?
I don't like that. I absolutely don't like that.
Really? I think that, the weather is nice
There's
when you sit outside.
yeah,
very
in
good.
summertime, maybe the time.
Yeah.
The weather is great, and we would like to eat outside. But You know, that's the time I went to UK. It's time for July, so it's kind of
Summertime.
really summertime. It's
Middle of
really
the
hot.
summer.
It's really
Yeah.
hot
Also,
in
I think heat
London.
wave.
Yeah, heat wave. That's
In England.
a great
In
heat wave
Europe.
struck in Europe
Yeah.
at that time. So, and then at lunchtime it's really hot outside. No one would like to
Okay.
get some
Like to eat outside.
get
or
eat
something.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So is it more expensive if you eat outside, or the price
No,
is
it's the same. It's the
same?
same restaurant. It's
Oh.
just they have like outside seats.
But-
Oh no.
If you take out the food, maybe it's cheaper.
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
Is it?
Yes, that surprised me really much. In Great Britain, they have eat in and take out.
Like
There are
sit
two
in
options.
price and
Yeah,
then
sit
take
in
out
price.
price.
The sit
Okay.
is the sit costs.
Okay.
That's
so
cost money.
Does it make? Is it a
And
big
air conditioning
difference?
costs money.
Or something?
About £1 or £2.
1 or
I
2
think
pounds.
that's a
Okay.
great difference for a meal. So
Something is good for commuters, like if they want to buy a quick lunch
yeah.
or something.
One wants it.
Yeah.
It's just like some cafes or.
I think it's good for their business too.
Yeah,
Like if they don't want
business trip, if they don't
people
want
to, sit in, they just
Yeah,
give them a
yeah.
discount maybe.
And I've went to England and also Scotland, but I love Scotland more than England. I went to Edinburgh.
Edinburgh, yeah.
I've heard of Edinburgh.
Yes.
I like Edinburgh very much. It's kind of a historical site, a historical city, and there's a lot of famous people, like Conan Doyle, J.K. Rowling. They are from
Edinburgh.
from
King Arthur.
Edinburgh. King Arthur. I don't know.
So there are a lot of like
Yeah.
cute bookstores and something like
Yeah, a lot of kind of hippies things
that. Oh, hippie.
in Edinburgh.
Hippie, so.
I think it's kind of an old town with a long history of cultural. They have
Rich cultural
rich
history,
cultural
maybe.
history,
Yeah.
yeah. And you can see in the pictures. You can easily search any pictures in Edinburgh. It's kind of an old town. It's very different from London. Before I went to London, I thought that London for me it's like a big city, a capital for an old country, for a large country for a very long time. So in my imagination, London could be just like maybe Paris or Rome. There are lots of historical sites all around, and there are castles, cathedrals, or towers after towers. But I didn't found that in London very much. Instead in Edinburgh, it's kind of every
so it's
street.
more modern
and
in London.
yeah, it's
maybe.
more a bit way more modern in London, and there's skyscrapers and high buildings everywhere.
Oh, and by the way, how was the traffic in London?
Traffic, it sucks.
I went to Paris last year, and then
Yeah.
it was terrifying.
Yeah, very terrifying. The traffic jam, and that's crazy. So most people choose to take undergrounds. Yeah. I've
Also,
taken
it's
the
really. I
undergrounds.
think it's really hard to imagine for us. Like the huge metropolitan
Yeah.
areas in maybe like Paris or like London, or
maybe
Beijing,
Tokyo
something like
or
that.
something. Yeah.
Because we are mainly like a smaller country.
Yeah,
Our biggest city is not that big
That's-
compared to other cities. So.
Yeah, I and Daniel come from Taipei, the capital, maybe kind of capital in Taiwan. So I used to think that the traffic jam in Taipei is kind of there's a really hard time in the traffic times. But after I went to London, I don't think that's kind of traffic jam.
Kind of
maybe
as bad. maybe
Yeah.
like local congestion.
local
or something.
congestion. Yeah.
So did you suffer the traffic jam in London?
Actually, not quite
Like if
that
you go on
jam,
foot,
so-
it's
I
much
go on
better.
because since I'm traveler, so we
Yeah,
go on
we don't
foot.
have cars.
We don't have cars,
so it's much
we,
better.
we don't drive.
Yeah.
And maybe buses may be caught in traffic jam, but most time we take on. The transportation in London is really kind of classical. It's
Like subways.
yeah. The kind of the famous logo for icon for underground. There's a circle and a banner.
A
in
blue
front.
circle
Yeah,
and
blue
a
circle,
red.
a red banner. And
Underground?
things and the bus
The red bus.
Route Master the red bus.
Okay,
the
double
layer
deckers.
double
Double deckers.
double deckers.
Yeah.
That's a really kind of city icon for London.
That's really cool.
And
So are they really old or something?
no, that's in fact,
So they're renovated.
yeah. I
Okay.
think the buses are renovated.
Okay.
The buses, yeah, they're kind of really new, and
Okay, that's cool.
that's really cool. And
That's really nice.
but the subways, the undergrounds, not quite
Not quite new.
modern.
Okay.
Yeah, I've taken some. There's Northern Line. They in London, people there call the underground tubes.
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 Okay.
The
Tubes.
long tubes, water tubes.
Yeah.
Since they said that local people said that the old underground is just like very large tubes passing through the underground. Maybe at that time, when
Maybe
they're built,
they love Mario, so they call the subway tubes.
Okay. Mario.
Mario
Brothers.
Brothers. Okay, the
Okay.
Nintendo things.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
So I've took the oldest. I think that is
The oldest line.
the oldest line, this northern line. So that's just the feeling is just tube.
Okay,
It's
so
just
you're
like-
locked in the underground.
Yeah, it's just like your, the roller coasters. Some roller coasters in the theme park is just would have a rail and the track and the car, and there's maybe something around you,
Yes.
like a tubing things around you.
Yes.
The feeling when sitting inside that kind of subway, it's just like it's just a tube. It's circular.
It's dark.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have a cylinder. The
Cylinder.
cylinder cargo is and when the doors open, there's a heat waves coming out since there's no air conditioner inside.
So there's no air conditioning.
There's
inside
no air
subway.
conditioning. That's about 60 or maybe kind of 60 or 80 years old subways. And
Okay.
there's no air conditioning under there, and the seats are really
Cramped.
pretty cramped, and everyone, yes, we're sitting shoulder by shoulder, and we're everyone doing their own things. It's just like kind of you put an elevator right inside.
Okay, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, that is very cramped. So
Is a tram powered by fuel or electricity?
I think it's electricity, not by fuel.
Yeah, I think it's
Oh.
electricity.
But yeah, the whole thing is very old and very kind of not be renewed for about 10 years or 20 years.
I think it's very hard for them to,
Yeah.
renovate that.
Since in Taiwan, maybe you can maybe tell in Taipei, there's a very good mass transportation system.
Yeah, and pretty good metro.
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty
metro.
new, and we have air
Really new,
conditioning.
and air conditioning, and you can
And it's
you
really
can stand
not
up
that
straight
cramped,
inside.
I think,
Inside the train.
Also, our subway is not that
Yeah.
not that dark.
Not that
Not
dark, not
all
that dark.
underground. Some
All
are
underground.
above ground and
Yeah.
on bridges.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the network in their undergrounds is really complicated.
Okay.
And from west to east, and they have different. Oh, talking about this, there's another annoying thing in London, and maybe
Yes.
in the whole Britain. The ticket price there is the transportation fee is. I don't know. I can't even figure out how do they calculate that transportation fee.
So is it high? Is it really high?
It's high and hard to calculate.
Okay. So
I cannot figure out this logic.
okay.
The calculation logic. So every time I would like to have some transportation. We use a card named Oyster card in London, so there's not a big problem of traffic fee in London. But
okay, so we don't have to buy tickets
Yeah, we
every
don't have
time.
to buy
It's like
tickets.
okay, IC
Calculate
card.
the fee by distance.
yeah, not only by distance. There's zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4 in London. There's not only
Oh, and if you cross the
yes, if you
zones, like it's
across the
very
zone,
expensive,
and the
right?
prices get maybe
Like
£2
taking a bus?
or-
Yeah.
Yeah, the bus and underground have different way.
So it's
different
the same.
formula
It's
for
same in
calculating.
Copenhagen.
Oh, yeah.
Like a few years back, we went there to visit my grandparents.
Yeah,
And they had like zone one to zone
1 to zone
30
2.
something.
yeah,
And then we would buy the pass for like zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3.
yeah.
And then you cannot leave the zone. If you leave
Yeah.
the zone, then it's very expensive.
So you have to be really familiar with the zone where the
Yes, you
zone
cannot- you have to-
located.
you
which
cannot
is
pass the
station
border
located.
of the zones.
So
yeah.
they don't have a easy car to.
Yeah, we have a card, so I don't have to get very brain.
But still, I think when you
so a lot of
pass the zones,
calculation.
it's like
Yeah,
more expensive than
more expensive, but it will
Yeah.
automatically be
deduct from your card.
from the
Okay.
card. So,
Yes.
but if I have to take the railway to maybe Oxford or maybe to Cambridge, then that costs extra money.
Okay.
Or if you want to get to a different part of UK, so you have to make sure that the tickets fit the location and time. Time is really important.
Okay, okay.
They have peak time and out of the peak the
So it's
time.
different
and they have
prices
different
for different
very
times.
very
Wow.
big difference.
Okay, that's
Well,
interesting.
I and my sister have bought the ticket. We have preserved the tickets to. There's the town called Bath in England,
Yes.
and but yes, we have take the ticket the day before we go to Bath, but my sister forgot. She left one ticket behind, so that ticket we have preserved and have the discount price. But
Okay.
if we have to, we have to go when we were going to Bath and we're taking out our tickets and we're missing one, so we have to buy another new ticket. We have to buy another new ticket for the train, and the price is kind of 5 times more expensive
5 times.
than the preserved one.
Oh,
Why?
so
That-
if
and
you
that's
buy
a
a day
regular
before,
price.
it's like
That's a regular
cheaper,
price.
right?
Yeah. If
Oh,
you
okay.
so I think it's kind of they want you to buy the tickets at
Beforehand.
beforehand. Yes, you have to
Okay.
buy the ticket at first, and
Okay.
if you want to go kind of the instant cost will be higher than you have preserved the.
So they want you to plan your
They
trip,
want you to
like,
plan
like
your-
much
plan your
like
trip.
you when you fly in
So
airlines, you know.
how-
Yeah, it's just like.
How do they commute in their daily life if they have to
Oh.
book the ticket beforehand?
I think
They
they
have-
have monthly passes.
Yeah,
right?
they have
Yeah.
commuters pass for if you want to commute from the two same cities. All you want to come from this place A to place B, and for a month or a year.
I think it's something to do with
much
crowd
cheaper.
control, right?
Yeah,
Like
I
if
think-
they know how many people
Yeah, I
come
think-
in every day, they
Yeah, traffic
actually,
control is-
it's cheaper for them to operate. I think.
Yeah.
maybe.
So,
yeah.
but that's not very travelers friendly.
yeah.
for-
Also very confusing for
Very
tourists,
confusing.
right?
Yeah, really confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason why J.K. Rowling can imagine the existence of 9 and 3 false telephone.
The station.
Oh,
right?
the
The
station-
station to
ah.
Hogwarts.
Yeah, Hogwarts. The station. Yeah, that would
Yeah, I think the train is a whole different story.
the train
right?
is a whole different story. For
Yeah.
that. Yeah. J.K. Rowling. Yeah. There's a visitor site in Edinburgh.
Yes.
It's a cafe which
Where she wrote the
where
stories,
J.K.
right?
Rowling
Yeah.
J.K.
the
Rowling wrote the Harry Potter
series.
series there, but I didn't visit there. I don't think that's very. I'm not a Harry Potter fan, so
Okay.
I didn't visit there.
So it's very fascinating. The Harry Potter
Yeah.
books are still getting reissued,
Yeah,
Every year.
every year.
and then they have the new series, like the new
The
Monster.
new,
Monsters
Monsters.
series.
Where
yeah.
to find the monster?
Yeah.
And even now, after 10 years or it's 12 years,
I think at least
at least
10.
10 years. Yes,
To
at least 10
15
years for
years, yeah.
the novel to be. Right. And
Yeah.
yeah, and
So how about Scotland?
Scotland. I like
So
Scotland
do you
very much.
visit do you visit
Like the whiskey fields, or
Whiskey field.
like
Yeah, I visited
the
whiskey field.
barley fields,
which brand?
the malt fields, or
Yeah,
something.
there's not kind of that much malt field since summertime. The malts are not grown
Okay.
into the malt yet. They're just green, kind of like grasses.
Okay.
But I visited the winery. You call
Yes.
it winery?
Distillery.
Distillery, yeah,
Yeah.
distillery. The distillery for whiskeys, Scotland whiskeys, and
Scotch whiskey. Yeah.
Scotch whiskey, and we've tried some Scotch whiskey. And
Okay.
there's a really cool part for the distillery. There's a there's a kind of like a bar for
Yes.
especially for the whiskey.
For
whiskeys
whiskey.
for whiskeys. So you can order you like the 10 years or 20 years, or you could like the
Wow.
different location. There's a menu for all kinds of different. You see they have single malt whiskey and mixed one for
Blended whiskey.
blended
Blended
whiskey.
whiskeys.
Yeah, Daniel could know that very familiar with that. I do not be. I'm not very familiar with whiskeys.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. If I have opportunity, I will visit one of them, one of
Yes.
brewery.
Okay.
So Daniel, could
So
could you
maybe
talk-
we will go into a break right now.
Okay.
Yes, we'll go into a break right now. Okay, we are back from our break. Sorry for the abrupt break.
Abruptly
Yen somehow got a phone call
from
and-
my boss.
and here we are now 30 minutes later. So, okay. So,
Yep.
um,
So would you like to share your summer days, James?
yeah, maybe it's time for me to share my vacation, right?
Yeah.
Before I share my vacation, I wanted to ask you, like, how did your English work in Great Britain?
My English work in Great Britain.
I mean, like, how did your English, like, did you understand
Oh.
their English?
You're talking about the
Did
accent.
I understand you? Yeah.
I can. They can understand me.
But
Yeah.
can you
I don't
understand
think I don't think they have problem understanding my English, but
Okay.
I have quite a hard time understand their English. You see, English accent is just like, I think English accent is just like something, you drink soda, and there's some burp. You have some air popping out of your throat inside your mouth. So you're like you can't even just talk normally. You're like, I'm talking about my trip to Great Britain. My trip to Great Britain. They're just like popping out. There's
Okay,
not
that's
normal.
pretty interesting, right?
But yeah, that's quite interesting.
I
But,
really enjoy like how they talk. But actually, it's-
maybe.
sometimes it's a little bit difficult to understand.
Yeah, maybe a bit difficult.
Like how about Scotland?
I think I was say Scottish or Scotland Scotch English. Their accent is more cranky.
It's a little bit like German, right?
Yeah, a bit like
Germanic
German. They
languages.
pronounce the R with an R sound.
Okay.
So they will say maybe transportation.
Oh, okay.
They would say like that.
Yes.
They have the I don't know how to explain that kind of sound, the R sound.
So a few years
tapping
ago,
sound, yeah,
a few years
tapping
ago, I
sound.
got into like Welsh.
Welsh.
I thought it was a very interesting language. It's very little spoken, not widely spoken, only spoken in a little part of Wales. And I thought it was very interesting. It's a lot like the Germanic language.
language.
Not so much like
They're just like they're Germans. They're basically the people there are Germans at
Okay.
the ancient time, and
they immigrated.
yeah, they
over there,
immigrated and
settled in Wales.
there's a instead of English, Scott people also speak another language called Gaelic. It's a Scottish Gaelic.
Okay, that's an Asian language, right?
Asian?
Ancient.
Ancient, yeah, that's not. Yeah, you can say that ancient, but there's still widely used for Scottish people now. A lot of people speak Gaelic to each
Gaelic,
other.
Okay.
Yeah, to each other. So they're just speaking their Scottish English, and they're instantly change their.
So they don't speak English in normal life,
they speak English, but it's just like
but they speak Gaelic.
yeah, they in their normal
Much
life
more.
they sometimes they speak Gaelic a lot. Yeah,
Like
a lot.
people
And they have-
speak Chinese
So
and
maybe it's like
Taiwanese.
Taiwanese a little bit, but it's
Yeah,
two different
there's
languages.
A little no. You could say that. That's two different languages.
It's
but
two different languages.
two different. But Mandarin and Taiwanese is also two different languages, so you cannot.
Debatable.
Debatable. Yeah, that's
I'm
undebatable.
joking. Just
So,
joking. Okay, they're two different languages.
Yeah, and the road marks and shop names in Scotland, they all use Gaelic.
They have
all
both Gaelic and English.
Gaelic, both Gaelic and English.
Okay,
Yes.
that's really
That's
really
really
interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's time for me to talk about my
Yeah.
vacation. So I went to Hong Kong for
Oh.
4 or 5 days,
Hong Kong.
just before the
Before
big
the
protest and the
protest.
the
But
police.
I think the protests have started at the time.
have
you
started
told me.
like they started by the time when I was about to fly back.
Ah,
So
yeah.
the airport was crowded when we were there, and then there were like international journalists, a lot of them at
the
the
airport has been.
at the airport. But
yeah.
but the day when we came back, it was fine.
Mm.
The scary part is that when I was there, we lived at a hotel near a metro station.
Yeah.
And then when we came back, the metro station was the one that was attacked by like tear gas.
The Yunlang station.
Yeah, it was not Yunnan.
Not Yunlang.
No, it was not attacked. It was
Oh.
just the police
Oh,
were
the police
there were
were-
tear gas in
Wow.
the metro station. So I was
The
a
conflict.
week, yeah, a
happened
week
there.
earlier. So it was pretty terrifying.
Wow.
And also when we were in Hong Kong, it was a sense of like
Sense.
everybody was not sure like what was going to happen. It was a sense of fear in the air when we went to Hong Kong.
So, do you see any protesters with?
No, we didn't
their-
see any. We didn't see
Oh,
any
you didn't
protesters. So it was okay.
So the protester concentrate in some area.
Yeah, I think they concentrate in some areas, but we did pass like a few city areas where they had like tunnels, and then they would have like the post-its on the walls, and with all the messages to Hong Kong.
To Hong Kong.
And it was
The
just
land
pretty
wall?
scary. You know, it was pretty scary. Yeah.
But why did you go to Hong Kong?
So we went to Hong Kong because we were going to take a cruise there from Hong Kong to Japan and then back to Hong Kong. So it was like just an entry point for us, and then just to eat a little bit of the local food,
Kind
and
of
you know,
transportation
see
spot.
around the city, maybe go a little shopping. But we didn't do much in Hong Kong.
So how long did you stay?
I stayed like 4 days in Hong
4
Kong,
days.
4 or 5 days in Hong Kong.
Yeah, I've heard that in Hong Kong now they going on the street to protest about once a week when they're in the weekend. They go up to on the street and
Yeah, also
having
like I think
greater
strikes
conflict.
or something.
Yeah.
I think strikes or yeah. So yeah, it was a pretty terrifying experience
yeah.
in Hong Kong, and yeah, I hope they are all safe, both the Hong Kong people and the police. You know.
If I also see protesters in London,
Oh, really? For
Yeah.
what
For
for?
what?
I think I didn't know that I didn't talk with them, but I see the slogans and the flags they brought there. It seems like they're protesting for the Brexit. Brexit.
Okay, for Boris Johnson,
For-
right? The new prime minister.
Yep, and it's just it's right in front of the Big Ben. You know about the
Okay.
tower in the London, the Big Ben, and there's a kind of a square, a little square,
Yes.
not so big, and there's lots of people. They're waving flags and a lot of slogan things, and there are a lot of visitors that day, and a lot of foreigners, and I think it's at the time we got there. There's the peak time of the London traffic, so there are lots of people. There's full of people on the street, on the road, and also in that square, and they have speakers and really loud. They speak their sing songs and do a lot of.
Okay. So
So-
it's like anti-Brexit, like
Yeah.
pro European Union.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
I think I thought it was a anti-Brexit movement.
So
At
how
the
many
time.
people were there?
I think maybe. I think
1,000?
maybe 2 or 3,000. Not that many people, but I think that I would say that the kind of London people is very used to these kind of protests in
Yeah.
London. It's just they just look over that and
Okay.
it doesn't
So now
take
I think they are
any
trying
difference.
to go for a hard Brexit, you know, for
Yeah,
no
yeah,
deal
yeah.
Brexit.
No deal Brexit.
And I think
And there's a
it could
deadline
be
there
it could be scary. Could
Yeah, I
be
think it could
potentially
be-
it could be destructive to the economy.
to the
you know.
economy.
But we'll see, you know.
Um,
It's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just like Hong Kong
with
things.
Boris Johnson and with Trump, you know, they are
Um,
really. I think they're
really-
good friends.
Really,
They certainly do look alike, and I think they have the same ideology, like to,
Yeah.
you know, protect like
to
nationalist
protect
nationalist views. Okay. So I'll talk more about my vacation. So
To
we went
Japan.
to Japan, right?
cruise.
A huge cruise ship
Um,
boarding from Hong Kong to Japan,
Hmm.
and the typhoon just followed us the whole way.
so you
So-
did not
so-
came
so
across
the first 2 days, the ship was really like like wobbly,
Wobbly.
and then I got really seasick for the first 2 days.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
did you throw up?
No, but you couldn't eat anything, and then you
Wow.
would be nauseous like all day.
Nauseous. Wow.
Yeah, it's terrible if
It's
you get
terrible.
really seasick
Yes.
on the ship. Yeah.
So you-
for 2 days.
So
Yeah,
you
for 2
couldn't
days.
enjoy the facility of the ship.
Yes, first 2 days, no. I just slept in my room,
no,
It was terrible. But, when we, our first stop was Okinawa.
Okinawa.
I actually never been there before.
So did you
Okinawa.
bring some brown sugar back?
No,
Sugar.
I don't think so. There are a lot of shops, souvenir shops, but they're very expensive. They're for selling for the tourists, and then the prices are really, really high. Yeah.
You know that Okinawa people speaks Ryukyu language instead of Japanese.
Really? So it's a
Yes,
different
they,
language
they have a different language.
or a
in
different
Ryukyu.
dialect? Or is
No,
this-
that's not
a
dialect.
different-
That's
so it's a different language.
Certainly different language. It's called Ryukyu.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know
I
that.
thought there's also
Oh,
Japanese.
That's. I've heard that sounds really
Like
common,
Japanese?
like Japanese, but it's totally different things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were a Japanese, you could probably
yeah,
understand.
If you're a Japanese, but you do not know anything about Ryukyu, you cannot understand Ryukyu.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that.
Yeah,
And-
that's really special.
Yeah, I think that's really special, and I think Okinawa is a pretty good place. I mean,
Yeah.
pretty fun.
Is it
you
hot?
know? It's a little bit like you put Taiwan and Japan
and
together.
Japan
Like
together.
it's
It's just
like
in
a
the middle
hybrid.
of our two
yeah,
isles.
it's very cool. It's very
Yeah.
cool. And so after Okinawa, we went to Fukuoka and Nagasaki. So
Nagasaki is a
the
bombed one.
southern part of Japan.
Yeah,
So where the bomb hit,
where the bomb hit.
and there were a lot of Americans on the ship.
Um,
So it was very fun for them to. I think it was fun for them to
So-
visit some of the
oh,
historic sites
yeah.
on the
I've
in
know that
Japan.
I've heard that there's a museum of the atomic bomb in
Yes, but we didn't
Hiroshima.
but we didn't go there because
didn't
we
go.
went to the museum in Kagoshima.
Yeah,
Not
Ka-
Kagoshima.
Kagoshima.
No, the other one, Hiroshima.
Hiroshima. Yeah,
And
Hiroshima.
it was frightening for me.
Yeah, Hiroshima.
The museum was scary.
That's scary.
Seriously scary.
Really scary.
That was really deep stuff.
Yeah.
So we didn't go to the museum in
Yeah.
Nagasaki.
And Nagasaki is also renowned for is the first port for in the
To open
to open
To the Americans.
yeah to the Tokuoka
Okay.
Tokugawa
Tokugawa
government.
Okay.
Yes, the first to
The shogunate.
to Netherlands.
Shogunate, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was pretty interesting that they rebuilt the city in such a short time. After the war,
After the war.
like 60, 70 years. They rebuilt the whole city. It's really, it's
It's
really
just,
remarkable.
It just looked like a normal city.
Yeah, it's
normal
remarkable to me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Also a little bit, also quite sad.
Town. Yeah, quite.
Actually,
sad.
I'm quite curious about how did the radiation fade away.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it took like 10, 15 years before they could build something there, right? So you have to minus like 10, 15 years before they could rebuild a city
But
there.
you've heard that like Chernobyl, is
But I was
It-
wondering,
it's
maybe like a nuclear bomb would
Oh.
have fewer lasting
Fewer
effects
on
than
radiation.
fewer lasting. It might be like just a huge impulse of radiation, and then it would drop down. I don't know. I don't know the specifics, but
There maybe
probably-
can do some.
yeah, probably it would be something like that.
Yeah,
I'm
they
guessing.
can do some engineering to remove that
Yeah,
radiation dust or something.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
interesting how they rebuild a whole city.
So
Yeah.
how many time did you spend on the ship per day?
So we spent like the ship there are sea days and then there are
Yeah.
port days.
4 days.
So on sea days you spend the whole day on the ship.
Yeah.
Okay, so you enjoy the like swimming pools or something on the ship, and then at port days, then you go from 7 in the morning to 7 at night.
12 hours
Yeah.
every time. So how's your can you tell us about how's your daily life in the sea at the sea days?
Okay, so on sea that
So
they
what
will
are you
every night before you go to bed,
Yeah.
they will have a brochure for you,
Yeah.
and then they'll tell you what events are on the ship tomorrow.
There's events
So-
every day.
Yeah, there are events every day. So
Yeah.
there are like in the morning, starting from the morning, there
Yeah.
are like sports competitions like ping pong, and then or like they will have like trivia games. Okay, trivia. You know trivia?
No.
or bingo. Like trivia is like they ask you like questions.
Yeah.
And then you can answer them.
Yeah.
And then you compete for prizes.
For prizes. Yeah.
And then there are bingos and dancing classes, singing.
Dancing class.
And at night they have, at 5 o'clock they will serve dinner.
Hmm.
So you will go to a specific table. There are restaurants in the ship. And then you eat there. And then after dinner they have like performances. Like huge shows. They have a large theater in the ship.
Oh, they have a theater inside.
Yeah, it's really big. It's like 14
I thought it was
on the
like
ship.
a small stage and there's some
No,
live shows on
it's a huge
theater.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
there's you have seats, so it's like stairs.
yeah. It's
Wow.
like a huge auditorium.
Yeah,
And then you would
auditorium.
just watch shows there at night. Yeah.
It's like a big city in Hsinchu.
Yeah, it's like a hotel on the ship. Yeah, really. So it's good for perhaps older people. You know,
How your room? I would really like to know about the room.
the
How
room
does
is
it
just
set up?
like any hotel room.
Really?
It's the same. Yeah,
So it will not be
it's
really
a little bit
compact or
smaller, but you know, it's
smaller?
still really quite big.
So you
Yeah,
have
I
a
think it's-
window and a
No,
No, I don't
no, the
think you
windows
have
are more
windows.
expensive. So
Yeah.
my parents
Oh.
got the window room, and me and
Oh.
my brother we lived in in
Smaller room.
the cabins. Yeah,
Oh, the cabin.
yeah. I
So-
think it's actually great. You
Yeah.
know, we don't actually need windows. They have a
They don't
balcony.
actually-
My parents' room had a balcony, but
They
balcony.
have a balcony?
yeah,
For
balcony
what?
with
For
the
what? You have a
with the
deck. You have a
windows.
deck. That's a great balcony over on the top of your.
Hang
No,
your
but they
clothes.
have like their own. Like it's
Uh-huh.
like a suite.
Oh, yes, that's sweet.
Yeah, I think that's just
So
marketing.
is there a restricted time for you to get onto the deck or other facilities?
No, the facilities
No.
are open.
Open all day, free.
Yeah, almost all day.
Almost all day.
And then, yeah,
So did you
maybe close at midnight.
Yeah. So did you meet? Is there any rainy days or?
Oh yeah, the typhoon was. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
you're
following
trailing
us. So
back.
there were some rainy days, but most of the facilities are
So is there any-
indoors. Only the swimming pool and something are.
So it's
are
just like a
outdoors.
hotel.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
a really big hotel. Yeah.
So are there any curfew about?
No,
No. So you can enjoy all the facility.
I mean the facilities were closed at like 12 o'clock. But other than that,
so
you're free to
still
do
free
anything
to
you want.
go everywhere in the.
Yeah.
the
Also,
ship.
there are like 4 or 5 bars on the ship.
Well, this time I went to Britain and
Yeah.
I took a kind of a sleeper, a train with a bed.
Okay,
To
to where?
Edinburgh, from
Edinburgh,
London
from
to
London to
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
It's about 10 hours or 10 or 12-hour trip. So
Okay.
I've on the train and we go on a sleeper overnight, and
Okay.
the room is really compact.
Okay.
It's kind of just like I can. There are 2 levels of this.
So
The
bunk
beds are 2
beds.
level bunk
Bunk
beds.
beds,
Yeah,
right.
bunk beds, and
Okay.
there's not really quite a big space for you to do any other activities. So there's just beds, and there's a aisle, and there's nothing. That's kind of a really compact room for a sleeper to Edinburgh. So I thought that on the cruise you maybe have some room that are really compact. It's not like the hotel room.
No, I think most of the rooms are pretty nice.
Pretty
It's like
nice.
like a hotel room. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's quite spacious, and yeah, you have like fridges, televisions,
Well,
a restroom.
that's really great.
Yeah,
Really
it's
great.
just like any ordinary hotel room. Yeah, maybe like the cheaper hotels in
Cheaper
Japan,
hotels.
but it's
Ah.
still
The Japan is.
a functional room.
Japan hotels in Japan. Maybe it's a bit compact. In
Yeah,
my,
a bit like
in
that,
my
a bit like
image.
that, but still, very nice
Very nice,
for
right.
vacation. Also, just one thing I wanted to talk about
Yeah.
is like there are a lot of Cantonese on the ship.
Oh, you said
On the
Hong
ship
Kong?
because we went from Hong Kong to
Yeah.
Japan back to Hong Kong. So some elderly people from Hong Kong,
Yeah.
they would go on the ship and then they will bring mahjong on the ship.
Oh,
And then they spend their
So
whole
they-
day playing mahjong at the
Ah.
library room. So mostly they have a library room, and it's for reading and surfing the internet.
oh.
But they have like
Mahjong.
square tables.
Square tables everywhere.
Yeah, square tables. So-
Foldable, like foldable
No.
ones.
No, it's
With mats?
the library has like the square tables.
Ah.
Okay, and that's personally I think it's a
So that's not especially for mahjong.
no, but they have just square tables just somehow.
Yeah.
And I think that's perhaps not the best decision
Yeah.
by the ship, to
I
put
guess
square
you get
tables over
older,
there.
You also get some wisdom to utilize everything wisely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically they play mahjong all there at the library, and then the foreigners wouldn't dare to come close to the library because they were quite
They're really
noisy,
scared. Noisy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for you do not know about the mahjong, it's just kind of like Eastern dominoes for
Yeah,
it's
and
just like,
also because the pieces are really
pieces.
loud.
really loud, and
Oh, they're like pebbles.
Yeah, pebbles. They're hitting each other, and
Yeah.
we have there's a session to run over all the pieces, so it's really loud. It makes really loud noise.
So you have to shuffle the
You have to
pieces
shuffle the
between
pieces,
each
yeah.
round, and then it will make noises.
Noises, really
like
great noises.
100 pebbles,
Yeah.
just shuffling on the hard table.
Yeah.
So it is allowed to play mahjong in library.
Yeah.
Library.
Yeah.
In a library.
It's a library.
Yeah, it's a library room,
But it's a cruise.
Library.
yeah.
But it's a cruise.
So, yeah.
Well, he paid for the ticket.
Yeah, but I think it's a little bit waste of money.
Yeah,
maybe.
the waste of money. You get on the ship
But
and play mahjong.
But there are like
For those
elderly
they
people, I
just
mean,
want to-
they may be like this kind of vacation.
Yeah.
So it was pretty fun. I would recommend, go with family or something.
So have you go to other places in Japan?
No, we were planning on going to Kagoshima to stop
Kagoshima,
at the port, but then the typhoon came
Typhoon
and then
comes.
they locked the port. The port didn't open, so we couldn't stop there.
So you're just kind of
So we went
you're playing
straight
hide
from
and seek with
yeah.
the typhoon.
Yeah,
and it
okay,
comes
and
this
then-
way, and I go to this way.
yes, and we came back early from Japan, so we spent like a full day just floating in the Taiwan Strait.
The captain may feel that very anxious during the time. The typhoon was
Yeah,
coming.
because
kind of was coming.
we couldn't stop at the port, so we
Yeah.
had like one extra day.
So you're just floating on the
So we had one extra day
the
on sea.
Pacific Ocean,
Yeah, so we have to
right on the Pacific Ocean.
So it was the original plan was to stop at Kagoshima for one
Yeah.
day, for one night, for
Right.
one day, like from 7 o'clock to 7 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
And then there were 2 days at sea to sail from Kagoshima back to Hong Kong.
Well,
But we didn't stop at Kagoshima, so we had 3 days to float to travel from Japan back to Hong Kong.
Back to Hong Kong.
So there was one day where we just floated on the Taiwan Strait.
Just floating on it.
Yeah, floating on the
On the sea.
on the Taiwan Strait. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
did you feel bored when you forced to stay on the ship?
I mean, there are still activities on the ship, but it's still very, you still wanted to see Kagoshima.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't see the
That's
island.
kind of disappointing.
Yeah, kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Also, did you know there are like casinos on the ship?
They're casinos.
Did you know that?
No.
No, I've
They're
never
like,
known that.
yeah, they're.
But it's not very special for if I.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not very
It's a big
surprised.
part. It's a big part of their revenue, I think.
Yeah.
Like they're like big casinos.
So
did
I
you go to
wonder if
casinos?
you go
No.
to
No.
restaurant on the ship, you have to pay for the meal.
No, it's included.
Yeah, excluded.
It's included in your ship.
So if you get on the cruise and you don't have enough money to pay for the restaurant, you're gonna have
It's a noodle.
I don't think that makes sense.
Yeah. Also, all the drinks on the ship are very expensive. Like very, very expensive. So you could eat for free at the ship, but you couldn't have any drinks.
How
You
about
don't have
water?
any drinks. They have water, but you don't have like Coke or beer. That
so water
costs
is
So
free.
extra.
do they
Yeah, water is
have a
free.
bar on the ship?
Yeah, there are a lot of bars on the ship, like pubs,
Yeah.
and then you can sit there and
But the
then
drinks is
enjoy your
expensive.
day. But the
Oh.
drinks are the American price.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's
Yeah.
just well, you have to make something to
Yeah, but
contain these.
everything costs extra.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
So are passengers allowed to bring everything they want on board?
Yes, this is just like going on
Going
an
on a
airplane.
hotel. Oh, going on an airplane.
Yeah, don't bring the dangerous stuff, and then the rest is
Like
okay.
knife, like
And knives, I think it's okay. It's not very, strict security rules.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the luggage don't have to undergo X-ray detection.
Oh yeah, still has to go through X-ray detection, but it's just, I think it's for fun. It's
For
just
fun.
check for the real dangerous
Oh, so
stuff. But
when
Yeah.
at your port day, when you get on, for example,
yeah,
Fukuoka,
when you get on, you have to go through the X-ray
go through
checker.
go through a custom.
Yeah, go no
No
customs. Only the first day when you go to Japan, you have to go through
Ah.
customs.
Oh.
And then we
Where
when you go
you're
on the
refugee-
when you board the ship again, you have to go through the X-ray. Yeah,
That's really cool.
it's a really
I've never
cool
been to-
like travel experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also not as expensive as you think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really not.
So about
it's
how-
not that expensive.
how
I forgot the
much
price,
in-
but I remember it's not. It's
yeah.
really not that
No,
expensive.
not that
Yeah,
expensive. I've never been
there
on a cruise
because there are
before.
like a lot of sales, so
a different
common
class.
they commonly have discount.
Common. So you can maybe
yeah,
you can
it's not that
you can take
expensive.
the not so
Not in a popular
not
season.
in the popular season. You can maybe
Oh yeah, but I think it's popular all seasons because it's mainly aimed for like
for the
elderly
travelers.
and elderly travelers.
Oh, so they don't
Don't
care
have
about seasons.
yeah, they don't care about seasons.
Okay.
Mainly, yeah, not so much about seasons.
Okay. So have you been to other places for visiting, Daniel?
Me?
Yeah.
Mm, mostly I stay in Taipei and Hsinchu. I visit lots of exhibition.
Exhibition.
Yes,
What kind of exhibition?
mostly related to art. And
Art. So like museums or
Mm,
galleries.
Yes, museum and art park.
Yeah.
Like Huashan Art Park.
Oh. Is there any
Um,
special or?
There was an exhibition about monster or ghost
Monster
uh,
goes.
in one of creative park, but I
Oh.
forgot its name.
So what kind of monster or ghost?
Maybe
Um,
anime.
No, Taiwanese traditional
Oh, Taiwanese tradition.
monster or
Monster.
ghost, like
Oh, like the New Year's monster. New Year's.
Oh, new. Oh.
Really? Is that?
9-year monster is like more like
Aboriginal
Abori-
tradition or legends?
yes, the story that told in the monster. Well, I don't know how to describe it.
Like
Oh.
local fables, maybe.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
yeah. I was.
Like the black and white monsters from hell.
But
Is it like that?
Hmm?
Like the black and white monsters from
Oh.
hell. Do you know that?
no.
There's in Chinese tradition, in Chinese legends, there's a there's a king, emperor.
Yeah,
in the
emperor
hell,
in hell.
and
Yeah.
he had two assistants, like they're
There,
called
one is black and one's
black and
white.
one is black, white faced,
Yeah.
and black faced monster.
I
And
saw
then
it
they
come
will
out.
come up and take you you
Well,
down.
was a cow head
cow head,
man
cow head, and with a horse
face.
head, horse face man,
Oh,
cow head man, and horse face man.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of a Chinese traditional legend,
Yeah, traditional fables.
traditional fable.
But what makes this exhibition special is
Yeah.
it combines AR and VR.
VR,
Yes, VR.
virtual reality things.
Yes.
So what kind of VR? Is there a game?
So the
or something?
monsters could interact with you, maybe.
Oh,
It's
kind of
actually
scary.
not scary. It's
Okay.
more like fortune telling.
fortune telling.
Oh,
Yes, you put on the VR equipment,
Headset.
Glasses, yeah, headset.
and you will see a scenario about someone's daily life,
Yeah.
and the story is about the daily life and his 元神功. I don't know how to translate this in.
This
English.
kind of a concept in Taiwanese traditional. It's kind
it's
of a
imaginary house that
Yeah.
controls your own fate.
yeah. They imagine there's a palace inside your heart, and that
Okay.
palace tells your future.
oh.
So
okay.
if this imaginary palace is well maintained,
Well
You-
maintained,
you will have a good fortune.
Good life,
good
maybe.
life. Yeah.
Yes. So this
So a little bit like karma, right?
Yeah. Maybe.
like
Yeah.
something to do with karma. I mean,
So
yeah.
if you get into the Yuan Shen Gong and you break something, and then your fortune will be changed, it's something like that.
Yes, it's story something like that.
Okay,
Oh.
so it brings like traditional Chinese like fables and into the AR world and let you
Yes.
experience that in an exhibition.
Hmm.
Well, that's
That's
interesting.
quite interesting.
Yeah. I really like to go to exhibitions
Yeah.
in Taipei, maybe.
Taipei. Yeah, there's a lot of exhibition in Taipei.
Yeah, good exhibitions.
Especially. Yeah.
And I visited liquor and wine exhibition in.
So there's another exhibition about liquor
convention,
and
maybe?
wine.
Yes, actually there are exhibition every week in Taipei,
In Taipei.
Exhibition Center.
Oh.
Okay.
So how about the liquor and wine exhibition? Do you try a lot of
Free booze.
free booths? Yeah.
There are beers, wine, whiskey, rum, gin, all the wine and liquor you can imagine.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
have you tried Scottish whiskey?
Yes, but
How about it?
most of the stand was selling wine mostly.
Wine, yeah.
Okay. I really don't like wine that much.
Yeah.
I like
I think wine.
whiskey better.
There's a
you know?
bit. There's a kind of like
like a tanginess.
tangy. Yeah.
or like
That's a
I
smell.
think I don't like tannins. You know.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
like
I don't
tannins
like
very much.
tannins
I don't
very
like
much,
those very much.
So wine doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, beer make more sense.
Yeah, beer. I like beer better.
Yeah. Talking about
Also.
beer, this time I went to Britain, and the beer culture there is really very very impressive
There
for
are
me.
beer bar everywhere, right?
Yeah, they have beer and bar everywhere. We've gone to a local tour, and the guide there tells us if you would like to build up a small village in Britain, you just bring 5 people there and build a bar.
Okay.
And then you can build a village and then become a town.
Yeah.
They call beer liquid bread, right?
Yeah,
Liquid bread. Yeah.
They
liquid bread.
even drink beer for breakfast.
Yeah, but I just cannot imagine. And we get outside at about 9 or 10, and the bar is open, and and there's
Wow.
people
And
sitting
out there
there
in the
drinking
morning.
beers.
In the
and-
morning.
In the morning. In the
Wow.
morning. It's the daylight is always there, and
Okay.
they just drink beers and talking on their cell phones or watching newspaper or something. And after lunch, there's more people in the bar.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Actually, I really like the culture. You know,
Yeah,
the
the
beer,
culture
like
there
the
is very
pub
special.
culture. Like
Yeah, pub
it's
culture.
it's a place for you to socialize with
Wow.
people.
Yeah,
all,
yeah, yeah.
all ideal life to me.
yeah, and the beer there is really cheap. In
Yeah,
comparing
yeah.
Plain water.
comparing to Taiwan, not quite cheaper than water, but about maybe you can
It's not
gallon
that
of beer.
expensive.
Yeah, that's
you
a
know?
pint. Yeah,
A pint of
a pint
beer.
of beer. A pint of beer is kind of about 5 or 6 pounds.
Okay.
That's not really expensive in the wedges like
Yeah,
London
yeah.
or other cities.
I mean, beer is that price here too.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
5
but
or 6
it's
bucks,
really.
So did you taste some?
Yeah, I taste some, and there's a special culture there. So since they have a lot of consumption in beers, so they have something called they kind of specialty or specialty beer,
beers.
craft beers. You can
Oh,
say that.
craft
Yeah,
beer.
craft beers. So they do different. There are different regions in London, not kind of in London, different areas and in
in England.
Britain, in England,
And then they have
have
different
the
flavors,
local
right?
flavors. Since they have
Yeah.
breweries in that local region, so you get to different regions and you can try different flavor and taste, and they have different description of the flavor, and they have a different season also. In different time, the malts or the things they add into the spices they add into the beer when they're making the beer is different. So
Yes.
you can have different flavors and different location, different season. So I think it's very, it's very, yeah, it's kind of. It's kind of just, it's not only like beer, like drinks. It's just like a kind
It's
of
kind of
food,
an art.
a kind of art. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an art form. Like you go to you cannot have the same beer at the. if
It's
you-
almost its
at
own
almost same same
category
place.
of beverage,
Yeah.
maybe. craft beer is very big here in Taiwan in recent years
Yeah.
also.
In recent years, it get very
And
hot.
here in Taiwan, we have a lot of like local tropical fruits.
Like
and then
lychee.
and then they put the
pineapple.
flavors.
Pineapples.
They put the flavor, infuse the flavors into the craft beers.
Mm.
So if you ever come to Taiwan, you should
You
give
should
those
try
a
some.
try.
Yeah.
It's really interesting flavors. Also really nice packaging.
Yeah, nice packaging.
They have like
You see
beautiful
that.
artworks for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
beer
yeah.
beer bottles. Yeah.
But it's very different from kind of England, since Taiwan there's not so many people drinking beers in Taiwan. That's not part of the daily life in our
Actually,
daily
it was
routine.
my daily life.
So yeah, that's yours, but not most
Not for
people-
everyone,
not for everyone.
right.
So
Yeah.
I think there's not enough consumption to support the industry to grow to more.
It's not that
different-
popularized
Not
yet.
that popular in
Yeah.
Taiwan. So
Actually, I visited a beer festival in the summer vacation.
yeah,
There were many visitors, which is
Yeah.
surprised.
visitors.
surprised.
So there's not so much local people, Taiwanese people.
Mm, they are Taiwanese people,
Yeah.
but I don't think they live in the neighborhood.
They live
So-
in the neighborhood.
So they come here special
Especially for the
for the
exhibition.
festival.
Oh.
Okay, but still, it's coming for the festival. But
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
England, it's for like daily life.
That's daily life.
Yeah.
You may have 3 pint of beers a day.
Yes.
That's kind of a normal.
So if you want to talk about something about work, you go to a pub.
Yeah.
If you want to discuss like,
It's just like-
homework projects, go to the
Yeah.
pub.
It's just like
Yeah.
cafes.
It's
in-
like convenience stores.
convenience stores in
here
Taiwan,
in Taiwan.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's really different culture.
It's part of their daily life,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
just an event, maybe. Okay, I think that's enough time
Yeah.
for today.
for today. Okay,
And
thank you
how
for
was
listening.
this episode?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was quite fun.
Yes.
talking about our
Yeah, our summer vacation is
Vacations.
almost over now, though.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're
almost over.
about
It's
to prepare for
2
our
weeks
fall
for-
semester.
Yeah,
Also, our last year in university.
next year we're going to facing the graduation part.
Yeah, taking some final classes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's a good summer. You know,
Nice.
Maybe
I want to ask,
Purchase one.
where's my souvenir from you and you?
Maybe.
So the typhoon was there, and
So-
we couldn't buy
We couldn't
anything.
get
You
it very
know,
much. So
yeah. When I was in the
Oh, excuses.
when I was in the third day in Japan, when we stopped
Yeah.
at Nagasaki, I didn't buy anything because I thought I'm going to shop at the last day.
last day.
And then so the last day was Kagoshima, and then we skipped the last day.
Wow.
So there are no shopping.
There's no
And so I did
souvenir.
no shopping in
No
Japan.
shopping day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So no souvenirs for you.
So sad.
Okay. So
Okay.
that's all.
So we'll see you next episode.
Yep.
Goodbye.
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 Thanks for listening.